Hi, my name is Brandon LeBlanc. Now, who in here would consider themselves a photographer? Okay, now who in here has their own iPhone on them? Well, I would consider you a photographer because you have that iPhone in your pocket with that camera on it, and you've probably taken over 1,000 photos. But how did we get here? Where did photography start? Photography started back in the 1800s, and the evolution has gone on for over 200 years. It started in the 1800s in France, and the first camera that was ever created was known as the camera obscura. So what the camera obscura was, it was a wooden box about this big, this tall, with a little hole in the front, which was your lens. The lens had its own shutter, a manual one. This is a replica of the camera obscura, basically. So you would have your camera here, you would remove and expose the hole where the light would come in, your light source would come in. There would be a material such as the light sensitive paper. This is a photo that I have taken with this camera of the bridge at CGCC. So this would be at the back of it, like this. The light would come in, and you would then take this, your lens shutter, which is just a little piece of tape, and you would take it off, leave the camera open for as long as you want, and then you would cover it up when you're done. And you cannot let any light get in here because of this paper, which is photo paper. It has silver and gelatin on it, and as soon as it is exposed to light, it'll turn that black. So that's why the hole in the lens on this camera is very small. But where did we go after this? What was the next thing? Film photography. Film photography was the thing that skyrocketed photography back, I think, in around 1888 or the early 1900s. Film photography made photography accessible for everybody. Everybody was able to go out and buy a film camera. They were able to go and buy their own film, which I have right here. This was the film that you could buy. The film known as Kodak, and the first ever film camera was also known as like the Kodak. That was like the brand. But this right here is Kodak Professional Film when it's T-Max 400. So what does that mean? The film you buy back in the day had different gradings of ISO, which means the light sensitivity that you could expose the film at. This is 400 ISO film. It goes all the way up to 1,000, which means you can take photos in the very, very bright, and it can take the photo a lot cleaner, whereas if I was to use this in the way bright, everything's just gonna be black and overexposed. But how does this work? You would open your camera. The batteries are dead, so I can't open this right now, but you would take your film, you would feed it in, and it comes in a metal case to keep the sun and all the light from hitting it. Now, once this is in, you would take all your photos, but film only holds about 30 to 36 photos depending on how stretched out when you put it in your camera. And what we have are some film prints. This is the same paper that you would print on, and you would have all these prints. This is just of downtown Chandler, so I pass those around. But when you take your photos on the film, and you have all of the rolls in here, what you're gonna be doing is turning them into these, the film negatives. And these film negatives are how you print your photos. So with this, you take it through all the chemicals, you develop them, you take this, then you enlarge them, and you get this. And this is the end product. But where did we go after film photography? We jumped into digital. Digital has taken over photography, the photography world, with the different lenses, the different cameras from Nikon, Canon, Sony, Fuji, everything. But why is digital the best? Well, digital is the best because, let's do a comparison. Film, 30 to 36 photos. Then you gotta develop it for an hour, and this is expensive. $30, 18,000 photos. That is why. So, load your SD card into your camera, go take 18,000 photos, and have a lot of fun and have no regrets doing anything because you can just take and take. Digital photography, the first digital camera was around 1975, and different cameras have been created for different styles of photography. But what is the importance of photography? So the importance of photography is to capture the memories. Think about every time your parents has said, oh, let's pose for a photo in front of this landscape. And you're like, oh, mom, I don't want to. But your parents get to cherish that memory forever. And according to shotmix.com, photography, the photo business, is about I gotta look here at my notes, $36 billion in with there being over 8 million cameras sold each year. And also another interesting stat is that when it comes to crime scenes, that different photo evidence is how crimes are solved a lot, the photo evidence. So that is the importance of photography. But you do have to be careful when it comes to taking photo evidence with cameras because of the editing nowadays. Thank you.